Hey guys, I'm Comeback Craig, and today we're going to be talking about eating disorders and how they are not mental health disorders, very close to mental health disorders, but they're actually rated separately by the VA. Uh, I'm going to just hop right into the screen share because this one's a little bit goofy for me to understand, and I prepared the slideshow, so let's do that. All right, so this is a screenshot that I did, and it's 4130, the schedule of ratings for mental health disorders. The nomenclature employed in this portion of the rating schedule is based on the American Psychiatric Associates Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition, DSM 5. That's what we're on now. Rating agencies must be thoroughly familiar with this manual to properly implement the directives to apply the general rating formula for mental health disorders. So here is a list of mental health disorders. Let's see what I have on here. And you might, I know this is an eating disorder one, but I'm going to just go down this a little bit. I have 9400, generalized anxiety disorder. Let's see what else we have here. I have 9411, post-traumatic stress disorder. I used to have 9413, unspecified anxiety disorder. You might have that. Mine was changed to generalized. Is somatic symptom disorder. That's for the chronic pain, sometimes referred to as a lifestyle impact claim or disorder. Bipolar disorder, I do not have. I have 9434, major depressive disorder. And then that used to be 9435, unspecified depressive disorder. I don't want to explain too much about my mental health stuff, but it used to be unspecified, and then it changed. The rating criteria for mental disorders are as followed. Total occupational and social impairment is 100%. Occupational and social impairment with deficiencies in most areas is 70%. Occupational and social impairment with reduced reliability is 50%. Occupational and social impairment with occasional decrease in work efficiency is 30%. Occupational and social impairment due to mild or transient symptoms, 10%. And then a condition was normally diagnosed, but no symptoms, and it doesn't interfere with your work and social life at all, that's 0. Now, the reason that I'm going so deep into the mental health disorders here is because the next slide covers 9420, anorexia nervosa, and 9521, bulimia nervosa. I kind of am blocking this screen, and I'm going to have another slide where it shows it a little better. But basically, there's 100, 60, 30, 10, or 0. If you look up these codes and you look up the law, you will see the rating formula for eating disorders just tucked in right underneath this one here. Whoops. The general rating formula for mental disorders. So I encourage you to go look this up. And I'll put a link to this page as well. So what are eating disorders? Eating disorders are conditions related to persistent eating behaviors that negatively impact your health, emotions, and your ability to function in important areas of your life. Important areas of your life sound familiar? Occupational, social, like those kinds of important areas. The most common eating disorders are anorexia and bulimia. Most eating disorders involve obsessive and or constant focus on weight, body shape, and food. My weight has gone up. My body shape is round, and I eat a lot of food. And I don't mean to make light of it. That's just my situation. It's weird I don't have bulimia or anorexia. So if you don't have it, it's hard to understand it. And I guess this is a good part to throw in. If you suffer from anorexia or bulimia, have a diagnosis, have a rating, know something about it, please leave a comment so you can kind of explain it if you feel comfortable doing so. The comments is a good place to educate everybody about this stuff. And this is a big one because you can have a 7% mental health rating and a 60 or 100% eating disorder rating. So obviously, very high value claims potentially. These behaviors can significantly impact your body's ability to get appropriate nutrition and can harm vital organs, obviously. Symptoms tend to vary depending on the type of eating disorder, and we will go into those kinds of symptoms right now. Anorexia, potentially life-threatening eating disorder characterized by an abnormally low body weight, intense fear of gaining weight, and a distorted perception of weight or shape. Individuals suffering from anorexia often use extreme efforts to control their weight and limit calories. Such efforts can include excessive exercise, using laxatives or diet aids, or vomiting after eating. Bulimia. It's another serious, potentially life-threatening eating disorder that involves binging and purging. During these episodes, people typically eat a large amount of food in a short period of time. I do that, but I don't have bulimia. And then try to rid themselves of the extra calories in an unhealthy way. For example, people may force vomiting or use laxatives to get rid of calories. Individuals with bulimia may be at a normal weight, but can still experience serious health complications. From what I do know about this, researching this topic, there are quite a few people with bulimia that they do appear normal and they have a normal weight, but this is what they do. This is part of the disorder. When they eat, they binge and purge is the verbiage here. So if you're going to establish service connection for either of these two eating disorders, they're rated the same, by the way. You must be able to demonstrate the following three elements. These are the elements that you're going to need to demonstrate for all for all VA disabilities. You need a current diagnosis of an eating disorder right now in the current day, an in-service event, injury, or illness, and a medical nexus linking the current diagnosed eating disorder to the in-service event. So if you are diagnosed in service with bulimia or anorexia, that might be a way to do a direct service connection. If this is a condition that came out of something else after you got out of service, say a mental health disorder, because it is common to have one of these eating conditions and mental health. So you could have you could file a claim, bulimia secondary to depression, bulimia secondary to anxiety, bulimia secondary to PTSD, because there's no pyramiding there, different ratings. Close, but different. So how the VA rates eating disorders. VA rates eating disorders under 38 CFR 4.130, Schedule of Ratings, Mental Disorders, rating formula for eating disorders. And we went over that. Kind of a weird place for it. That's where it is. It's right underneath the mental disorders. And that's why it's confusing. The diagnostic code for anorexia is 9520. And the diagnostic code for bulimia is 9521. And the rating criteria is the same for both. And these are the only two eating disorders in here. So let's talk about the different ratings: 100, 60, 30, 10, and 0%. 100%. Self-induced weight loss to less than 80% of expected minimum weight with incapacitating episodes of at least 6 weeks total duration per year and requiring hospitalization more than twice a year for a word I can't pronounce, nutrition or tube feeding. So this one is I'm familiar with what incapacitating episodes of at least 6 weeks mean because I have that with my chronic fatigue syndrome. So these things, there's overlapping things, and actually, chronic fatigue syndrome is, I mean, it's not like this, but you can have a rating for chronic fatigue syndrome and a mental health rating. So I guess there's a similarity there. A 60% rating, self-induced weight loss to less than 85%, expected minimum weight with incapacitating episodes of 6 or more weeks total duration per year. 30%, self-induced weight loss to less than 85% of expected minimum weight with incapacitating episodes of more than 2 but less than 6 weeks total duration per year. 10% rating, binge eating followed by self-induced vomiting or other measures to prevent weight gain, or resistance to weight gain even when below expected minimum weight with diagnosis of an eating disorder and incapacitating episodes of up to 2 weeks total duration per year. So you have the 80% up at the top, 85, 85, 6 weeks drops down to 2 to 6. It drops down to 2, and then 0% is binge eating followed by self-induced vomiting or other measures to prevent weight gain or resistance to weight gain, even when below expected minimum weight with a diagnosis of an eating disorder, but without the incapacitating episodes. That is the last slide. So, this is going to be uncomfortable to talk about. I am familiar with that. You're going to have to talk about it because you need to have a diagnosis, and then you're going to need to explain the nexus and all that kind of stuff. Just to kind of leave you with something fun. Hopefully it'll zoom in. I have these flashcards, right? So I've been looking for an excuse to use these. So there. Not really zooming in very good. So that's one part of the eating disorder, the mouth. All right. And then the stomach. Zooms back in on me pretty good. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. Looks like Clyde's in the background there. Got my other camera on here. And if you want to support my channel, you can do so by clicking the join button on the channel or underneath this video. I appreciate all the support. And or you just watching my videos. So I will see you in the next video. Combat Craig out.